have, and I can safely say that we've all gone through personal experiences and we've gone through them together. We've had a lot of highs, but we've also had a lot of lows as well. It is difficult, but I think a lot of people don't see like what goes behind a band, especially when you're on the road. As when we were in the height, we were gigging every weekend, and it can be quite tough. So I think the real important message is it's quite easy to forget. Like, I mean, I'm talking personally for myself at this point. Like, quite easy to forget why you do it. So I think my message to youngsters that are looking to start a band and stuff is really like, just remember to keep enjoying it. I think that's the most important thing, because it's really easy to escape the fun, and you keep like challenging yourself. You have this vision where you want to make your dream happen, and that can be quite empowering. I think in some regards, especially for myself. I think and it can affect the fun that you have, and you put pressure on yourself as well, and that can be quite detrimental to yourself. So I think the most important thing for me is for a message is to definitely keep it fun. Like, I mean, how about you?
Yeah, I'd pretty much agree with that. I think it's literally it's a journey, and it's a long one. No matter whatever stage you are in your career with working in music, like I was kind of late to starting up. But then once I did, like it's hella addictive. Like, it's super fun to do it, but it's also super stressful. It's just about not putting that pressure on yourself. Just remember that it's a long-term goal, and like I personally, myself being a promoter as well as like playing music myself,
you get to see all sides of what's going on.
It was eye-opening, but it's about understanding that there's a long-term goal, and don't be too hard on yourselves. And like, if you don't achieve something straight away, like that's completely fine. It is hard work. Like, every band that I think you ever see on the circuit, I think we can both see, like, speak for a lot of people that we've played with, they all work really hard. And like, you yourself, you'll see even with backstage and stuff, like, there's so much preparation that goes into playing, like before and after you play. So it's remembering that, just stick at it, really.
That's really helpful. I think that will inspire quite a few people, I think, especially in a realistic sense of way, where you can look at something from a screen and you can see you guys performing on stage, but it's just not the case. And I think, like you said, it feels like you've got so much passion. That's what you can hear in the music as well, which is so lovely. I think carrying that through is no problem. Carrying that through, I think, with everything you've done so far, it sounds a bit cheesy, but like, not like a highlight in a sense, but something that's stuck with you that maybe someone spoke to you about, someone's given you a bit of advice, someone that you've met, a fan that you've met maybe, that has kind of made you have that moment of like, oh, okay, like, we're doing something really, really cool here. Like, what's been a memory of you for that, both of you?
Yeah, for me, there's quite a few. But talking of one, as someone he's no longer here with us, we have a really heavy supporter and a very dear friend of ours called Alan. And
our condolences.
He followed us everywhere up and down the country, and you can just see like the passion that he had for us. Like, he'll be right at the front of every show without fail. Like, that was that. So, and you see him just enjoying themselves, and like, I mean, again, when we had our album launch show a couple of years ago, and you're hearing the crowd singing your lyrics back, and they're really getting involved. That really, like, you could be sweating on stage, but it gives you goosebumps. And you can really hear that they're not just like kind of singing along; they're really giving their emotions to it. I'm sure from Skye's point of view, because obviously Skye's the one that wrote the lyrics for these tracks. To hear people singing those songs that probably mean different to him to what they do, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much, it's how you interpret it. But as long as that message is getting across and people are really connecting with that, I mean, for Skye, that must be an amazing feeling, because just hearing those people sing your lyrics back and your story back is a big thing. And for me, I didn't even write the lyrics. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that on stage. It is an emotional journey, and it can shake you up sometimes, man. Like, and we've had some amazing times.
That's awesome.
And had some great gigs. We've met some amazing people, and it's all worth it. Like, even when you're having a hard time and you spend loads of time away from friends and family, because when you were gigging like we were at one point, you do spend a lot of time on the road, and you're away from other commitments in your life, and that can be quite challenging back at home and stuff. So, but you do have those
It's lovely to hear something from a guy. You guys are so established, in my opinion, as well. But I think the wider public would definitely say so, because you've really honed in on your sound, and that's so lovely to hear because of how awful it is. It's nice for the public to kind of hear stories of like that with bands that are so prevalent, such as you guys, and have such an influence on people. But it's the case of realistically, you guys are going through some really horrific stuff, or you're having to deal maybe highs, lows, good days, bad days, but it's nice to be able to hear that, because again, I guess you kind of get consumed a bit of like having that optimistic sort of sense and like, you know, just having the end goal. But it's nice, I think, for people to listen in and they can say like, oh, okay, you know what, like it's okay, like, and it really reflects in your music, which is lovely, because you can hear a lot of bands and you'll hear the lyrics, the songwriting, and it might not reflect as much, but with you, I feel like you're just pouring everything into it, which is amazing.
I think like we've always done that, and I think a lot of like I used to do it when I was younger. You look at these guys on stage, and no matter what level the bands are, and you're kind of going, oh man, that must be so much fun, and it is. But you know, these people,
highly as good as it looks, by the way.
That's what it says on the tin.
But we're also human, man. Like, and there is life stories, and you know, and you do have tough times. So I think that needs to be probably a bit more open to people as well, and not to put, again, going back to putting pressure on yourself, like it's okay to not be okay, that kind of thing. So
it's nice to hear that. It's nice, especially for, I think, the scene that we're all in, and I think it's just important day to day. I mean, going through, I guess you've gone through quite a different era and stuff of your music, and you personally, I guess it's changed so much when you guys first started out of playing, being who you are. What was the early days for you like compared now?
I think we were super lucky because we have had such a large support from really early on. Funny enough, we were talking about it earlier, like our debut show, we played in front of like 150 people, which is like crazy to think. So it was just like, we had such a huge support from early on that we didn't want to let anyone down. So we just constantly stuck at it. We just made sure that we like never missed a practice. Like just made sure like we gave each other each other's time, and just worked hard from like the get go, because we just didn't want to let everyone down from the get go.
Yeah.
Like when we played that debut show, I think all of us was just like, I mean, my head was down a toilet puking. But like,
bless you.
I was like the second in which I walked up there, and it was just like, I'm staring at my buddies, but I'm also staring at like, oh, fuck.
Sorry. No,
you're all good. I don't to swear, but like,
honestly, don't you worry, you're all good.
Shitloads of people out the front, and I was just like, I think it kind of blew us away really early on.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, by that point, we wanted to live up to everyone else's expectations as much as our own. If not more so.
Wow.
It was like, it was a lot of pressure, like super early on. So,
gosh, it sounds like it, but you've really transformed it in a way that's worked. You've got like a little bit of like a guideline, I think, in my opinion, of how you can do something and do it well. And you guys have really shown that. I think even in the early days of you performing and you saying that about, you felt like you needed to provide the audience with, because they've turned up 150 people, you're like, oh well, we need to deliver, we need to give that, and you've worked so hard towards that. That's really fascinating, because I guess a lot of bands that you might have interacted with would be completely different, but you feel like you've got to work,
I think it is
hard and I'd really appreciate that. I think a lot of people will resonate
to
with
other
that.
Bands, and like they're like, oh, you know, we started off and they gradually build and stuff like that. That was what was kind of mind blowing from the get go. It was like, oh, we have to go for this.
Yeah. Gosh.
So it was a strange one.
Gosh, I think kind of making it a bit more lighter for you guys, and making it, even though it's quite a cheesy question, but you going back to saying when you're on the road, putting it on the lighter side, is there any rituals that you guys have when you're on the road that you like to do together? It could be like, it doesn't have to be a chant or like, like a whole ritual like chant or something, but is there something that makes you guys feel okay? Like it could be a certain place you go to, it could be something that you all tell each other. Like, what's you have your rituals or traditions?
No, I mean, normally we give each other like a fist bump, but we're also anxious people. I mean, I can safely say before every show we've all been nervous in one way or another.
You never look it like that's, and we kind of go, never look.
Yeah, we try to set each other's way before the show. Yeah, because we think if
hide
one of us sees each other, we start setting each other. We're like, we're not even going to make it on stage at this point.
We made that mistake once, and then it was like after that, we're just like, let's just stay away from one another. Because you start setting each other, like you might not be feeling that bad, but it's just like anxiety wise, but it's just like next thing you know, I look at Aaron and he's like. I'm like, oh no! Next thing you know, we just set each other off. So it's just like, if anything, our ritual was stay away from one another. Afterwards, we can chill, but like the second we're out of the van, that's almost our go-to.
Oh, I love
I think everyone has their own coping mechanisms, and like some people like to go away and just like keep themselves away from maybe the whole scene area, and just to let their nerves calm down. Or like for myself, I want to keep myself busy with maybe setting up the merch stand. Everyone has their own thing, and we just respected each other's space in that regard, and just made sure everyone was okay, and we always made sure to check on each other, like, dude, you good, ready to go, you know. But as soon as you get on stage and you start playing that first note, something just changes.
Energy comes
in. Yeah.
Wow, do you guys feel like you need a persona sometimes for you to help with this? Straight away, no question.
It's like, it might not be apparent, and I think most people behind the scenes who have definitely worked with us know 100% me behind the scenes, and then me on stage is kind of different. Like, I wouldn't say it's acting as such, it's literally you just kind of go into that mode, but I think we all do it. Like 100%, all four of us do it.
It's lovely to hear, especially when you're talking about you guys are quite anxious people, and you can feel quite anxious, especially before you go on stage, and afterwards you can feel maybe even similar, and you're like, oh my god, like, and you set each other off. But it's nice to see that even on stage, you guys seem like you have such a strong community spirit and a bond, and the support there is seen, and it's like you can feel it and you can see it, and it's so lovely. I mean, even here, I feel like you guys have got such a great support network within you, and it's nice to see with bands, and that reflects in your music as well, I feel, because you all know each other on the same page. You help each other, especially with if you have anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we've been through the ringer as a band individually, and it is the last couple of years, I think, especially I can safely say, it's been quite a tough one for all of us, because we're not as active as we once were. Only 2 years ago, I made the decision to step away from Sulvain altogether, because I just needed time for me. And that was a really hard decision to make. And we've all been there, but we, you know, so I think like today was just like a really amazing thing. We got up there and it was just like, wow, I don't know, I felt a bit different today on stage today. It felt really good, and the connection was definitely, like, you can talk about us having, like we had that, but I felt that on stage, and we just had a good time, and
it's lovely.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's amazing.
One of the nicest things with today is, like, specifically talking about Uprising, is after we played, the amount of people that have come up to us and been like, oh my god, like, this is the first time I've ever seen you. Which, like, a lot of times when we're playing shows, like, it's people that are like repeated, like, who have seen us before and stuff. Like, it's the amount of people that have seen us today, and it's their first time experiencing us. Some people don't exactly get us. Like, we're hit or miss. We are very much Marmite, I think, to some people. And I think, especially when it's on the heavier side of things, normally we kind of fall off. So to be on quite a heavy bill, as we've fallen so many times, and how well we've been taken today, has been awesome.
So now this is perfect, because this links in perfectly to my final question that I'm asking all of the bands today, and this is really fascinating to me. So you've literally just gave the perfect introduction to this.
Now I'm scared.
Because don't be scared. Honestly, this could be great. So say these interactions you've had earlier, people never seen you before, they're like, oh my gosh, guys, we're amazing. These people, right? Say one of them said to you, I haven't listened to you before. I want to get into you guys, or I want to get into your genre in general, or subgenre. Where would you say in your catalogue that you'd say, like, right, you need to listen to this song by Sulvain? If you want to start getting into us, what's the song that you would recommend people to listen to? Okay, both of you. You go first if you want, mate.
No,
whichever
you go first.
Skye, you.
I think, for me, if I had to really throw a song at them, there's two songs, but I think the top one's Rain.
Yeah, if you could give a reason why as well, that would be brilliant, because it'd be fascinating to see how they would be introduced to you guys and your sound.
Yeah, Rain was the latest track that we wrote together as a band, especially before we took the time to go on a bit of a hiatus. So that was like the starting, that was the starting of writing the second album, basically. So that was where when a band does their first album, you're still trying to find your sound. You might have your own little sound, but over the course of writing these tracks, you do start finding your sound as a band, because all those influences start molded into one. And Rain, I think, was like the last bit where it just naturally was just, it just come together. We wrote it and was just like, wow, because it's got a bit of everything. You've got the slowness, you've got the heavy chorus, you've got that nice chunky bit at the end, cool little solo, all that kind of stuff. It's just got everything, and the lyrics are just like, wow, and it just has that. So for me, if a new person wants to say, what song would I recommend? It'd be Rain, but then it'd be followed by Debt Is Paid.
That's interesting, because I'd say the same thing. Debt Is Paid.
It's just got that real cool groove. We just have so much fun playing that song.
Awesome.
I think for me, it's my favorite, one of the favorite tracks to listen to, but also to play it live. It's just got that really cool groove, and that bit in the middle when it's just me and Skye before we really come back into really heavy again. And it's just got a bit of everything. So for me, out of the two, Rain mixed with Dip, I think it's just got those two.
Awesome.
The elements of everything that we've done as a band, I think, because you've got some songs that are just slow, like Masochist and Solemn, they're just really slow, really kind of all the way through. And then you've got some really heavy ones like Manipulation, that's just pure riff and heavy all the way through. That's just slow, stuck in your face. So Rain and Debt Is Paid, they kind of complement each other and cover everything that we've done, and they were a lot of the latest songs that we wrote. Awesome. How about you?
Yeah, it's definitely Rain. I think looking at it from where we first started out, like the development is so clear because we gigged the fuck out of like the album, and then it was like when we went on the hiatus and stuff, it was something that we had written, but we just sat on it and we were just like, well, it is what it is. When we went back to do this memorial show, all of us kind of went, if there was one regret that we had, it was just like, let's go record Rain. And I was just like, but at the time when writing it, and like if you get a chance, check it out, it was very much like, from my perspective, it's one of those personal fuck yous to like everyone who's around you, who like pretend 9 times out of 10 to be way closer with you than they are, and then if ever there comes a hard time that you actually need them and they're not there, we all know those people.
That's really profound.
All know these people, and I was just like, that was entirely what Rain was about.
Gosh.
And I was just like, it was musically, it's so much further along from the rest of our songs. Lyrically, I've come a long way, writing wise, from where we was. And it was just, it was really good to just lay it all down and just be like,
yes, man.
It's super fun. And I think we have so many different elements to that song. It takes you on a journey, which is entirely what we did with the album. Like, we have the slower songs, we have the faster songs, but it takes you on a journey throughout it. It's not about just being balls to the wall the entire way. It's about telling you a story and getting you involved and joining the soul train.
And you've done that really successfully, and I feel like there's just way more to come in Sulvain's future, because you know what, you guys have really resonated with a lot of people. I think people that have listened to you and not, and I think from what you've just given of what you'd recommend, I think that's really powerful, that is, because I've never heard a song apart from yours, Rain, that would hone in on that, of that feeling, because now that you've sung about it and you're like, okay, it is actually a really important, powerful feeling.
It's a form of just like abandonment and just feeling like you're so on your own, but with the people that you class so close to you at the time.
Like a rug that's been pulled under your feet, almost, of that support that you thought was there. But
with a lot of the lyrics in which I write, and like we've worked, I wouldn't say entirely I write all the lyrics. Like I write the majority, but even when we're in the studio and it's like something needs a bit of change to it, like if anyone, it's Aaron that I work closely with to go, what do you think of this? And like,
awesome. Oh gosh.
Fun fact for you, when we wrote Fifth Whiskey, we didn't even have a chorus. Genuinely, we wrote the lyrics, we wrote it all, and then we were like, oh yeah, and we loved the riff, we call it the riff. And we're like, we love the riff so much, and we're like, nah. When we went into the studio, so big up to Neil Hudson there, because he's like the 5th member. Also,
awesome. Big up.
Really
you heard that. Big up Neil Hudson.
And also obviously obviously Carl's been stepping in for us, but also want to mention Matt, who is our main player.
Awesome.
But yeah, when we went into the studio to write that song, we wrote it and recorded it, and then Neil was expecting Skye to sing a chorus, and he went, "Why are you not doing anything there, mate?" And we all went, "Oh no, we just love the riff, man. We're just gonna let it go big." And he literally went, "You morons!"
No, we need something here.
No,
So he literally stopped the recording process and went, "Get in the room." And literally, and the chorus of Fifth Whiskey, generally, we wrote it there together in about 5 minutes in the studio, and then now it's like I
can't listen to it the same now. That's amazing. That's so cool.
It is the same riff throughout. It's just like chunkier, and it just changes, but it's the same one. But we loved it so much. We were just like, "It's the riff, do the riff." So we just stuck with it for so long. But yeah, as I say, we didn't. Well, I didn't write a chorus for it because we were so pumped about the riff. It was like, "This is the best riff ever." So
that's so cool. Guys, honestly, that's amazing. You know what? To end on a high note like that, thank you so much.
No,
and you know what, guys? Thank you. And if you haven't already checked out these lovely people and this amazing band, I think you're missing out, guys.